If you watch any of my sword cleaning videos, you probably know by now that the process I use for most of the swords I clean is fairly straightforward. It's non-damaging, it's very light approach. It uses easy to find products and can be done anywhere you have a table or a surface to work on. And by the way, if you don't follow my other sword cleaning videos, this may be a good moment to subscribe to see a lot more sword related content. But what I haven't documented so far instead is cleaning scabbards. And that is because, well, scabbards are often overlooked, I suppose. And also, I kind of always had a little bit of a doubt with scabbards because while the blade we know is tempered and heat treated so that it's hard, so it's very doubtful that a sponge like this might actually make a lot of damage to it. That isn't necessarily the case for scabbards. So scabbards are sometimes simple sheet metal or they might be mild steel. So it's something I never really addressed. And just before turning on this video, I was cleaning this scabbard, going through it kind of delicately and carefully because I'm not too experienced with scabbards either. And then I thought, well, why not make it into a video? Someone out there may be having this exact question, what to do with their scabbard. Is it safe to clean? Will it cause scratches or scour marks or stuff? So I thought, let's just show it. Half of the scabbard is already semi-done because I kind of had the idea of filming this while I was already in the process of cleaning, but the other isn't. So we're actually going to see a bit of a before and after and then work on it. And well, I just hope this is going to be useful to kind of clarify any doubts anyone may have. So let's dive right in. Okay, so as I mentioned, this sword is not in very bad shape, but I'll just quickly show you why I thought this would be a good candidate for cleaning. So you see it has, well, a lot of patination. I wouldn't say a lot of rust, although I'm not sure if it comes through on video, but there's a little bit of rust dust that is forming. But what I wanted to get to are, you can see some signs of fingerprints and palm prints around. So I wanted to get rid of that before they got too serious. And here I started cleaning it. So you can see a rather delicate work on it, so nothing too crazy. And then that was the point when I said, okay, wait, let me stop and film things. We'll also take a look at the blade, because since I'm filming it now, we might as well clean it too. So initially, I didn't want to clean it because it has this nice old oil. The blade is pristine, basically. It's mint condition. There's literally no trace of rust anywhere. It's in absolute perfect shape. This is just a little bit of dirt from the scabbard. So I was thinking, okay, this one is a blade that deserves to be left as is. But then I realized that there are some fingerprints. So some are likely mine, but not all of them. So some probably are from the auction house or from the previous owner or whatever, I don't know. But these are not okay to leave on the blade. So these have to go. And at that point, we might as well clean it up and oil it again. This oil, by the way, has a really unusual smell to it. It's very unlucky that the medium of video doesn't convey smells because actually each blade, depending on what oil or what material was used to preserve it, has different smells and you can kind of recognize them after a while. But what I did basically was, I've always been worried with scabbards, as I mentioned. Some of them are just sheet metal, so I'm afraid that sponges like these can leave scour marks on them. So what I did was an initial test here with oil, and that did not show any mark whatsoever. So then I started working a little bit here at the bottom on the drag, and no marks either there. And then I started cleaning it with oil first, and then really delicately running the sponge through over it like this. And well, and that's kind of the point where I decided, okay, maybe we should film this. So now that you're all caught up, we can keep working. Oh, no, one other thing I did was also test a little bit of autosol on this area to see if that would make any difference, or if it would make any damage or not. And it doesn't. So I might be putting a little bit of autosol just to get rid of even the more hard-headed stains. But you'll see that overall it's looking pretty good. Now, one thing you want to do if you're checking, this is something that I lots of times forgot or didn't really do the first times I cleaned swords, is first take a good look at the metal you're working on and see if you can spot any patterns of scratches. So for example, here we see there are a lot of, wait, maybe it's not in focus, but maybe you can see there are a lot of like diagonal small scratches. You can see them here. You can see a lot of scratches going in this direction too, of different sizes. Some are kind of relatively deep gouges, others are just light scratches. And you want to get an idea of that. Here you see a lot of these diagonal ones, just to make sure that when you start cleaning, you can quickly check if you're adding damage or not. So this is what I did here. Well, now you'll see it's all dirty with oil. And I don't see any, you'll see the same marks here. You see these diagonal scour marks. Well, these are normal marks of use, I guess. Here you'll see similar diagonal marks and everything, but nothing new. There's no like perfectly vertical pattern of scouring. So you'll see in this case I'm using very little autosol. It may not look like the case, but it's just a small, very small amount. It's just basically dirtying the sponge a little. So I don't want to get too much on it. And you'll see also what I'm trying to do here is work really lightly. So I'm still kind of concerned, even though I've done a few tests and it doesn't seem to cause any damage. I'm still not sure whether the scabbard is a hardened steel or not, so I don't want to cause any damage whatsoever. And in these spots, like these areas, I don't feel like this can be really dangerous, by the way. So be careful, because this can leave scour marks. So if you're kind of working always in this direction and to get into this area, you work this way, you can then leave a little pattern. So either do it very lightly or don't. So I'm not pressing at all here. Just lightly passing the autosol. And I'm also using sponge that's slightly used. So again, I think I mentioned it in a previous video. It may be just a personal impression, but I have the feeling that when a sponge is at least broken in, it is less abrasive. And now getting to the end, similar kind of reasoning here. I don't need to clean it perfectly and completely, so I just kind of run the sponge on it a little bit without worrying too much of small details. And this is mostly because this scabbard is in good condition, so it doesn't have any pitting, it doesn't have any real damage to it, so we're pretty good. What we're going to do now is wipe it clean and just get a quick view of how things look after a quick pass with autosol, and then we'll compare it to the other side. This is the autosoled version versus the how I received it. You'll see it's not a huge difference. It's basically just a cleaning. So we'll get into this side really quickly so you actually see the difference. So a small little dab of autosol. You'll see it's really not a lot here, although I'm not sure if it looks the case, but it's really not a lot. And here we go, we start. Okay, really delicately here. There's no need to be in a hurry or anything. And we basically do the same process I did earlier. And actually I'll clean it first and then come back to you because, well, it'll take a few minutes, which I don't want to take from you, and it's uncomfortable to work with the camera. And we're back. Time to wipe the autosol off, and I think we're going to see some nice result. I hope you can already notice. Get that in focus. I'm seeing this together with you guys, so I hope that we didn't cause any damage, but I don't think so. Let me just quickly show it to you. So you'll see a lot of the marks are gone. Here's where those finger marks and palm marks were like this. Those are not really visible anymore, or at least not as visible. Here's a fingerprint or something. but let's say overall the dirt has gone. I'm not going to do more to it because I think it looks good enough like this. And now it just needs a nice layer of oil, and then we should be good. You can also feel, by the way, the autosol leaves kind of a little bit of a, I think the best word I could describe it with is almost dusty. So residue, so you want to get that off. When you feel it's nice and smooth and oiled, then you know it's clean. Because then autosol, I mean, it won't damage the blade, I suppose, sorry, the scabbard or the metal, but it leaves ugly white residue, so that's probably not something you want. I believe the scabbard is now clean. So if we look at it close up, it's looking good. So the message with this is, don't worry. If you're careful and take things in steps, as I mentioned in many videos, and do things step by step, making sure you don't cause damage, cleaning your scabbard is going to be perfectly okay. Moving on to the sword. For this one, actually, I'm not going to use any autosol because, as I mentioned, the blade is in perfect condition. I'm going to oil up this side of the sponge, and we're going to simply wipe it down. Okay, let's get started. You see some nice maker mark there, but we'll get into this sword in a further video. Okay, so in the end, I did end up using also a little bit of the green pad because that old oil was really kind of caked on there really well. And yeah, it was taking way too long and it was really not coming off. So, but again, as usual, I tested it and I didn't see any damage or anything. These lines you see right now aren't scour marks. You can see it's just the oil left over, so don't worry. Also, what I noticed is what I thought were fingerprints or residue are actually like small defects, or maybe like just parts of the pattern of the steel here. So I actually can see it better on this side. But this little round circle isn't really a fingerprint or anything. It's just part of the steel. Same thing here. So I'm not sure what that is. I'm not a metal worker, but we'll wipe it off so we get rid of those ugly lines and we can see the blade in its final state. And here we go. So look at this blade. It looks really amazing. It's beautiful. It's not completely pristine, actually. I thought it was, but it has one little, where is it? Here, like a minor notch right here. But other than that, it's, I would say, practically perfect. So we'll oil it up really quickly and then wrap up the video. But I'm overall very satisfied. This one won't need a lot of oil, although the leather washer here is a testament to the fact that oiling things well does help. This leather is still basically soaked in the old oil that was used on it, and it sealed it in the scabbard, and I suppose that's what protected the blade over the years. So now a quick application of ballistol, and then off it goes back into its... Oh, well, I forgot about the hilt. I'll clean that separately, or maybe I won't, because I like the aged vibe on it, so we'll see. But for today, that's it. So thank you for watching, and see you soon. Bye.